You have to try this.
Okay, just a bite. Hi everyone, this is Social Takeout, small bites of social discussion. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Sarai. And welcome to a special bonus conversation with my friend Johannes Müller.
Yay!
Welcome.
Hi. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah. So at some point we're going to have you on for like a regular episode, but we were both really excited about this topic. So we wanted to just like talk to you immediately and like get it in the podcast.
Yes, please.
So Johannes, you have like a self-described fetish for the US. So we wanted to use this talk as a teaser to a later topic, being sexual fetishes, Sarai's favorite topic. So
okay, but
Yes,
first, Johannes, can you introduce yourself for everyone? Like, what do you do? Where are you from?
I was born in Aachen, which is like the deep western part of Germany, and I came to Berlin to study opera direction, or the direction of opera at a Hochschule für Musik Hans Eisler. And I'm doing music theater production since like 10, 12 years in Berlin. And this is also how I met Sarai. And yes, I had this US fetish my whole life. We can talk about where it came from maybe later, but yeah, it manifested itself also, of course, in the last years with the whole Trump thing, which is also the way Sarai and me bonded somehow.
Yes, absolutely.
We met we did a little project about Madame Butterfly and race in opera, and I don't know if it was the high point of the Trump administration time or if it was crazy like this all the 4 years, but it was the thing we talked about most, I have the feeling, during the...
Yes, yeah. And it was like, I feel all of Trump's administration was just like high point on top of high point, like just like a constant fever pitch, you know?
Yes, I think this is also the way he drained the people. Like, it was somehow his tactic to be like in the news all day, which...
all day, every day.
All day, every day. And this is also, I think, the reason why they finally voted him out, because it was so just draining. It was just too much, which you also recognize now in the Biden administration, that you suddenly think the US doesn't exist anymore. Where are they?
Right. It's like, oh, I didn't have to think about the president and like the impending doom of the United States like for 2 days. How amazing.
Yeah, but how did you go about your days during those 4 years? Because my first thing was always like pulling the phone up and taking a look and thinking like, what did he do now?
Exactly. So like immediately after he was elected, I was like, oh, I gotta get out of the US. Like, how do I get the fuck out of here?
Was that the main reason why you left the US?
It was a big reason. Yeah. Just like the type of, so I had like this remedial job at a grocery store. And once Trump was like in the media every day, my interactions with customers changed significantly. Like it was getting more and more racist and people were feeling more and more bold to, call me the N-word or like just say whatever the fuck they wanted. And as you know, in the US, there's guns everywhere.
Yeah.
So that really made me feel unsafe. And it was like, well, I have this French boyfriend. Let me like, hitch my wagon and move to Paris. Yes, it worked out slightly different. But yeah, like during his presidency, it was like, okay, well, I got to turn on NPR first thing in the morning and listen to what happened overnight,
Yeah.
But even like, I also listened to some different NPR shows, and I also had this feeling like of this division of the country. I don't know, like because the NPR stuff in the radio is so civilized and so almost intellectual, and they have this kind of speaking voice, and then you turn into the real life, like whatever press conference they did in the White House during that time, and you think like, who is this trash? What is going on there?
It was very much a disconnect. But Jeremy, like, where were you when Trump came into office?
So I was at home watching the elections.
Where's home?
In Canada, Toronto. I was actually with my ex at that point, and we were like sure that he would not win, like during the election. But then I remember it was such a weird point. Like when they announced that he was actually the next president of the United States, it was just quiet. Like it was a whole bunch of friends and I were just watching it because you guys are like provide great entertainment for us, politics. But up north, they're like, ooh, let's grab some popcorn and watch American politics. But that was a very scary moment. And a friend of mine, I remember, she was actually one of those viewing stations, the Democrat viewing stations in New York. She called me like crying. Like she is a queer female, and obviously this is going to affect her. Like it was a very, very, I will never forget the moment. It's kind of like almost like comparing it to 9/11 in a way. Like it was such a pivotal moment that this actually happened in history.
Absolutely. It's always going to be like a where were you on inauguration, 2016.
Yeah, that's right. I still remember where I was during 9/11, and I still remember the day Trump came into office. That I was running around Berlin like looking for a cheap washing machine, and it was raining. And I can still remember thinking like, oh, I'm watching the coverage tonight. And then I started watching, and suddenly I thought, there is something, like when they counted the votes, there was a moment where you thought like, there is something is off. I think I go to bed. It will all turn out fine.
Like I'll wake up and this won't be reality, and you know Hillary Clinton will be president and it'll be fine. Mm-hmm. Rude awakening.
And then I have the feeling like the 4 years that followed were a crazy blur of being on Twitter, watching The View on YouTube, like trying to follow what he's doing, and always this hope, like somehow he will do, in the end, he will do something so pathetic or illegal or whatever, that he will be out. And you were always my, I was always writing to you, did you see what he did? Or you texted me, he did this and this, and I'm writing back like, he will be out now. This is the end. And Sarai was always like, no, sorry.
I really feel like a lot of friendships came out of this whole situation.
Yes. This like trauma bonding.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, after the production of Butterfly, I remember you gave me a card where it was written something like, will you be my Trump friend or something like.
Oh God.
So
that's funny.
It was definitely bonding over trauma or and now that it's finished or that he's gone, this was the moment, maybe somehow after the 4 years, I got so used to this whole drama he created and the drama he put us all in, even whether you liked him or not, that even just after it ended, I had the feeling of, this is like a stone lifted from my. I mean, I don't know a lot about Biden, but just the fact that he's not in the news every day, is just a relief. Such a relief for me.
It is, and it's almost like, I'm missing my routine. Being terrified every day.
It's called PTSD.
I can really feel the ratings crash. Like
Absolutely.
I mean, my YouTube clicks on The View regarding Trump or Rachel Maddow or whatever are like in the dumpster. I don't know. It's like.
It's just suddenly like, okay, great. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can move on with my life. Jesus.
There's a whole bunch of Canadians really bored.
Yeah.
Okay. They were boring before. No, sorry, I'm joking.
Hilarious. No, don't apologize. Canadians deserve
no.
all the shade.
And
You guys could have like invaded the US and liberated us all from Trump, and you
You
did
know,
nothing.
there was actually conversations about this happening. I was like, what? You know this, right?
we Germans, I think we owe you something, no?
Yeah.
We could have done, we should have.
Exactly. Okay, but so like I do want to get back on sort of on topic of like this fetish that you say you have for the US. So like we all know that US culture is exported to the entire globe. So like think McDonald's in every country, Starbucks, US music and TV. And I remember being so excited to visit Austria for this first time when I was an undergrad. And my German teacher was like, oh, make sure you watch TV for at least 10 minutes a day to like get colloquialisms and cultural references. And so I turned on the TV and it was Simpsons, you know? And then like I went
Simpsons
to Spain.
in German?
Yeah, but it was still Simpsons. Like it was
Yeah.
like this American cultural iconic television
Yeah.
show. And then like a number of years later, I went to Spain and turned on the TV and it was Jersey Shore.
Oh my God.
You know?
Oh God. All right, Johannes, like what do you actually love most about the US, since you're saying like you're fetishizing the US in a way? Also interesting choice of words.
I mean, what do I fetishize about America? I mean, I actually haven't been. So
Oh.
that's maybe the reason I fetishize it.
So how did this start?
How did the fetish start?
Yeah.
I think somehow it actually started with The Simpsons or with The Nanny, one of both.
Oh, the nanny was like, I don't know, was she my nanny or was she on TV? I don't know. Like, I watched that show so much.
Yes. I mean, I was a gay teenager, so I started watching those American TV shows, and somehow I fell in love with this. I don't know, or maybe I have the feeling it saved my life. I don't know what it was. I remember watching Twin Peaks, like when I was 12. It was much too early. I could blame my parents. They shouldn't have probably let me watch it.
I'm going to go ahead and say no, they shouldn't have.
and I totally fell in love. It's such a, I think it's the mix for me, like in this shows of being so light and funny, but at the same time, you mentioned Simpsons. There is something culture wise, I don't know how to call it, like transcendent in this American. If American pop culture is really good, this stuff, I just love it. It's so intelligent and so has always this ironic side, which somehow I could connect with.
Yeah.
And somehow it happened with this TV stuff, I think. But then it branched out into not only TV series, also talk shows and RuPaul's Drag Race and cooking shows. I had a big Martha Stewart fetish a long time.
Oh, yeah. I still love her, even though Jeremy says she's canceled, but I don't care. I love her still.
Why is she canceled? I would love to know.
She said some things. We can talk about it in a different episode. Don't let me go down that path.
I would. Yeah, but this is, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I even bought there was a time in Berlin where I went to somebody and bought like 150 magazines, Martha Stewart Living.
Oh
like secondhand, and I carried them around Berlin, like in the tube, in the U-Bahn, and in a big bag, like, and I had them here, like on a big Stapel for years. And I really read them. I took them to the lake, and then I read Martha Stewart. But it was all the magazines from the 90s. They were old. I bought them secondhand.
Somehow that feels so German, though. Just like this idea of like secondhand magazines, like. You know.
Because I think I know why, Sarai.
Why?
Your husband and his mother.
Yes.
They exchange magazines. So.
Yeah. They exchanged
Yeah.
magazines and newspapers.
But this was during a time where I mean, the internet wasn't that big. I think I still had like dial-in modem internet.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't readily, I couldn't watch. I remember watching the first YouTube clips of American stuff, also American theater, which I watched a lot, like those Broadway bootlegs. I don't know if we are allowed to say that.
Oh, yes. I mean, I watched a bootleg of Hamilton, so.
Yeah, which are allegedly on YouTube. And so I still remember watching the first YouTube videos, which were, because I had a dial-up modem, were like I have to watch it in like 10-second increments because it had to load. Yeah. This was the time I also bought the Martha Stewart magazine. And so I also not only love this like American pop culture, but also everything food and cooking related. I love the American food, which is also a topic I could talk with Sarai for hours. But I really have a feeling it is connected to that I can't go there somehow because I'm so afraid of flying.
I was going to say, so why can't you go there?
Yeah, it's because I'm afraid of flying. So I never put a foot in a plane. So I have like a picture of America in my head, which was certainly broken during those 4 Trump years, but and maybe wasn't real the first time. Yeah. But I think it has to do with this like fear of flying and not being able to go there. And of course, it's, as you already said, it's like it's everywhere. You can't escape the American culture, but I must say it really has amazing sides. So I really love it.
It does have some good sides that we'll kind of get into. But so your fear of flying, like I looked up this one cruise site. It's called Cruise People.
Yes.
And it's like ultra luxury 12-person cruises from Europe to the US. Like to New York.
Don't kill his fantasy of America. Don't send him to America.
Like if we wanted to like get it out of you, this is the best way. Like just send you there.
She's gonna crush his dreams.
Right. So anyone who wants to donate to Johannes's GoFundMe to avoid this luxury cruise to the US.
I researched every possibility. Let me assure you to get to America. I was looking into those. Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mary one from Hamburg via Southampton to New York in 5 days, which is only like 10,000 euros a trip.
God.
And I thought maybe I could do some. I even went as far as thinking like maybe I could do some entertainment thing, like if I offer them to write a little show, I take a singer, Sarai.
Yeah. I'm totally down.
I write some interesting little bits about Birdie, and you sing something, and they take us for free. Or I also I researched like going on freight ships, like which takes a lot longer. They only have 1 or 2 cabins, but somehow I'm afraid they will kill me. I don't know why.
Absolutely, they're gonna like murder you and then try to ransom you to your family.
Yeah. But this happens also on luxury cruise ships.
Yeah,
that I think the most disappearances and the most like mystery deaths and everything happens on cruise ships. I read something about it.
I've got a side question. Are you also into true crime?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay, great.
So, but only American
true crime. Bondage.
Exactly.
Just American
Jeremy,
true crime.
Johannes is my new co-host, so you're out. I'm going to mute you.
Talking about Trump and true crime, I'll be like running out into the other room.
It's definitely connected. This Trump obsession and even the Rachel Maddows with this Russia and what did he do and who did he meet and blah, blah, blah. And going deep and trying to solve the mystery, it's also connected to this true crime.
It definitely is, isn't it? It's like a true crime unfolding before our eyes.
but only American true crime. Maybe it's because the Americans are also ruthless.
It's definitely like trauma porn a little bit. It's like, so we're going to go through every stab wound, of this murder victim and like analyze what we think it means, Okay.
No, so but I didn't. I also thought about like I have to be drugged to go on a plane. A little bit like this Michael Jackson situation,
Xanax
where
or Valium or
yeah,
something.
or that you need a doctor who put you to sleep and they
Oh my
roll
God.
you. Then they
roll you
roll
on
you.
the plane.
Yeah, they roll you on the plane, and then I wake up in New York and they put me out and push me straight to Broadway. I wake up and I finally can see Sutton Foster and Anything Goes.
Oh my
When they
God.
wake me up.
We'll try to find a drug cocktail for you.
Yeah, all my American friends. Also, I'm also interested in this American drug fetish they have. Like they take something for everything.
So you have a VPN and you watch American TV, right?
Yes.
Have you seen the drug commercials?
Oh, I love them. I mean,
Wait,
they
you
are
like
also
this?
some.
What?
Yeah, of course, I like it and I love it because I don't have to see it every day. I think if I would be there and this would be my everyday life, I would think like, oh, I'm going to shoot myself. I mean, it's so. Also, it has this depressing side. Even if I listen to this true crime podcast where it's like she was murdered, he slit her throat and stabbed her to death like 25 times. Oh, did you know about Casper Mattress?
Yes, exactly. Casper Mattress, the best sleep you'll ever have.
Great for stepping on top of.
Right?
She was raped 5 times and kept in a sex dungeon. Did you hear about Blue Apron? The free meal delivery kit.
Yeah, it's
delivered
true.
delivered straight to your door. And this is a little bit the same with those commercials. No, I have this VPN mainly to watch SNL because you can't watch the whole episodes in a real. I also like this in a full version, unless you watch it on the ABC website. And so I have this VPN, and they have this commercials in between, which also gives me the illusion somehow I'm in the country.
Yeah.
It's not like you watch it on some streaming obscure half porny streaming website, but you watch it as it was meant to be, and I really have the illusion I'm there. And
it's
this
really
I love.
Fascinating. Jeremy, so you're Canadian. Is there anything that you like really love about the US that like stands out to you that you obsess over?
No, I mean, no, I do love the US, and when it comes to like sort of like landscape sort of direction, because you have everything. Canada is pretty much the same throughout. Like you have deserts and you have like the mountains and you have snow. So on a road trip, so on a sort of like a road trip sort of sense, I love America that way. I also do love the fact that America is one of the when it comes to the people, I know the people don't get enough credit. Like there's even TikTok videos where they're saying like, what's the dumbest thing an American has said to you? All this kind of stuff. I think that is a certain
list.
No, but that is a certain amount of population. But what I do like about the people there is like they're very hopeful because the country is built on trauma. So even with all of that, for some reason, they love this big heroic story, and America has that in a way. Like, we finally legalized gay marriage, and Canada is kind of like, we did this 16 years ago.
Right.
But it's like a big deal. It's like, we're going to put rainbow lighting on the White House, and everything is much bigger. So I do love that they celebrate all the small little wins that are actually happening.
Yeah, but it's because that's all we have.
Exactly, yeah. But that's the only thing. But compared to other places in the world, they're still doing something. But my list of things that I don't like about America is much bigger. This is the extent it goes to.
Yeah.
And how about you, Sarai? You're actually American. What do you love about the land of the free?
I did leave for a reason, and I wouldn't go so far as to say that I hate the US, but like, It's disheartening when like my family is a American as far back as we can actually trace our family, but I'm still told to like go back to my country. You know, like that's a problem for me, and it kind of overshadows even the good parts, you know.
This is the thing that I don't have because I've never been or I've never experienced it myself. That I even if I see the the seedy sides or I always see them through those Hollywood movies potentially where you think, oh, the seedy bars and how they live. Oh, it has always this like romanticism
Yeah,
about it, no?
there
Like
is.
being poor and blah and making it and blah. This is somehow the way I
Yeah.
experience mainly this more problematic
And
side of America.
and it's like it's not romantic, you know, like before I left, I was working literally 5 to 6 jobs at the same time, you know, trying to like survive and take singing lessons and audition, you know, which you have to pay for in the US. You have to pay to submit an application to audition. So it's like the whole culture does not value like live entertainment and artists. So it was unlivable for me, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's really something different, if you are looking from afar and you are like baking the trashiest cakes made
Yes,
only out of
yeah.
like who bring
Oreo, cookie,
yeah,
lava, extra sugar cake.
yeah. For me, it's like going to a museum or something, or it's like
Yeah.
it's a very not even ironic because I really love it,
So
but of
you're
course,
more of an anthropologist, really.
yeah. Potentially, but yeah. So yeah, and I think then it would be totally different if you have to eat those cakes like every day, and
Yeah.
your whole diet is based on white sugar, or even not sugar, high fructose corn syrup.
Corn syrup.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not even sugar. Okay. So like why do you think people are so obsessed with the US? Like is it sort of this idea that it's like a slow train wreck and you can't look away or what
Yes.
is it?
I think it's also it's a big part is this romanticizing it or being looking through all this through this Hollywood TV
Like
Hollywood lens
yeah.
where it's a very I
Like
mean
he
they are
picked himself up by the bootstraps and worked so hard and, you
yes
know,
it's
became
a
a billionaire.
yeah it's a very strong but very hollow message
Mhm.
but it's very strong and I think this is something you could fall for easily. I think that this could work. Maybe this is also because this is also why people react very strongly to stuff like Black Lives Matter and everything because it somehow also shows the other side of the
Yeah.
whole.
It shows that it really is this hollow sort of facade that has very
Yeah,
little meaning.
yeah. But the difficult part is really that the facade or the picture you see or they want you to see is so this is also what I love about all those TV shows. It's not like they are not talking about this stuff. It's everything is you Black Lives Matter has some kind of impact, but it only goes that far.
Mhm, mhm.
But somehow they manage to take the problem in and to transform it into something and then present it in this American we can all make it if we really want
Right.
kind of way.
They kind of like
Even
put a rose-colored lens on everything. Yeah.
yes, even in SNL or something, it's like
Mhm.
they make fun about intelligent stuff, and they make also fun about important there's political stuff in it, but it always has this gloss of perfect timing,
Mhm.
giving you some sense of relief in the end. They mention the problems, they make fun about different phenomena you have in everyday culture, but in the end, it's really like, and somehow that's what is a consolation or a Trost,
Yeah,
tröstlich.
it's like it's it's resolved at the end.
Yes, it doesn't. Yeah. So, and I think this is something very verführerisch. Oh, my English goes away.
And
It
our German
seduces
is
you. It seduces you somehow
yeah.
to like it, or to see this, to see America in this like better light or whatever. And somehow this like, I don't know how to say it in German, this Widerspruch, that it has those both sides in it all the time, I somehow like.
Mm-hmm.
German culture is always so one note. So I don't know, it doesn't have those layers for me.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it like doesn't have those layers, or do you think that German people intentionally ignore them though?
They don't have it. I think they just don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Either they killed it, or probably looking at entertainment, of course, like a lot of people who are responsible for this, if we look at the entertainment thing now, are responsible for the good American entertainment, have left Germany in the 30s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
And this
for one
kind
reason
of
or another.
yeah, for one reason or another. And I think this killed a lot in German culture. There's some kind of being irreverent, or being like tongue-in-cheek, that's just not existent here. And this I miss very much. And this is like I think the most part of why I love watching those American whatever cultural products, being it cooking or TV shows or movies, that much.
Yeah. Jeremy,
Yeah.
what do you think? Is it just the slow train wreck dumpster fire that you can't look away from? Why are people so obsessed with the US?
Definitely, there's that part. That's the entertainment value. But but even before that, I don't think I was ever like obsessed with the US. But I was living in a country that was obsessed with the US. So I was like, I was born and brought up in Dubai, which is they copied America to a T. So American culture is sort of like absorbed by that place because they want to be like America. We want to be the next New York sort of idea. That's what it was. Now it's starting to have its own sort of identity in some way, shape, or form, which is very misogynistic and crap. But
and racist.
Exactly. But there was a time I was actually steeped in that culture. And what we thought at that point is America is one of those I've never been to America, North America at this point. As a kid, we think that, it's a land of the free because that is what's being sold. Like you can do anything. You can go there and be who you want to be. And especially a little gay kid growing up in Dubai, that was like a big deal. Like, oh my God, I can actually not get killed for being gay sort of idea. So it's that kind of stuff. And I remember watching, it's funny that you brought up RuPaul's Drag Race, Johannes. So YouTube, so a lot of sites are banned in Dubai. So if you go, putting it out there, if you check for gay porn or any porn, it'll say blocked site on like the government does not allow you to go into. You can go through different avenues to get it, but
how risky is that?
Very risky. If they find it, it's a big issue. So people having like their own stash of porn and stuff like that, they get raided and get arrested, things like that. So it's a different kind of world in a way. So YouTube, for some reason, was not banned. So it was my first look into the gay world, like watching RuPaul in that work, supermodel, that song.
You better work. You better work. Have a girl. Work it, girl. Give us world. Do your thing. On the runway.
I was like, oh my God, this is a man dressed up as a woman. And this was not even a concept for me. And I associated that with America at that point. Because obviously RuPaul's American. So, and a lot of the coming out videos.
Which is also not wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's part of it.
Yeah. It is definitely part of it. So, but the thing is, then I moved to Canada where I was like, this is even better. But then I'm looking at America from the Canadian lens. It was like
that's this garbage.
So if you're coming from a place that's extremely oppressed, America looks amazing. It's like one step better in a way. But then you go to a place that's actually good, and then you see the dumpster fire that's actually America currently. It's kind of like, oh, I'm so glad I did not move there, sort of idea. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it depends on what side of the green grass you are on.
So then you said something that, like just now, to the effect of like, when you come from a place that's oppressed, like America looks like this gleaming, beacon.
Yeah, because that's what you sell.
Yeah, but so Johannes, do you think like there's a portion of like German culture that is like oppressed, like in its thinking and in its like cultural identity, possibly?
I'm going to mute myself here.
You asked me if I'm oppressed.
Not if you're oppressed.
No. The Germans, unlike the Americans, are maybe a little bit more, I don't know if it's the right word. They are so fucking serious.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I don't know where it's come from culturally. They are so...
It's like a limited thinking, like this is the box and anything outside of the box is wrong.
Everything, yeah. And we have to think it through. And they are so... If I compare them to the Americans, let's talk TV. If you look at American TV hosts, they are very easy, not easygoing, but what is it? Lässig.
The word lässig means casual. We couldn't figure that out during the podcast. Bye.
The German word would be lässig. They are feeling good in their skin. They are comfortable in front of the camera. The Germans are not. As famous as they are, they probably are great actors in Germany. So what? I hate them all. But they are somehow verkrampft, like in their head.
They take themselves less seriously, in a way.
The Americans?
Yeah.
Yes, totally. The Germans don't get irony. There are some, there's this German host, Jan Böhmermann, which a lot of people suddenly like and say, okay, it's almost like America, but it's really not. He's funny, but you can sense that he's trying very hard. He's trying to be feeling comfortable in front of the camera.
It's even kind of like imagination, right? Like this sort of internal way of thinking, of imagining things, and I don't want to say planning for the future, but like imagining like the different possibilities,
Yes, exactly. And for Germans, somehow it feels a little bit, there's this one way and we have to do it like this. Yes. Whether I am hosting a show or if I'm thinking about a political movement I want to start, we have to think about every single detail before. And this is so unfunny and so uninteresting to watch from the outside. Yeah. I mean, we did a lot of research for a music theater project about the AIDS movement in the 80s. And the Americans, they are just so good in doing this big, fantastic demonstrations, sit-ins, happenings. They just do it. And the Germans are still sitting there and they're, do you think it's good to do it in this way or that way? Or maybe did we talk about in America, it's just like, we watched like discussions like from those times, how they come to decisions, and it's very quick, which is very good, I think, or impressive. Good, I don't want to say good, but very impressive.
So we do know that you loved America, but I'm kind of curious to understand your perspective on Canada.
Yeah.
Do you see Canada?
On what?
So do you think Canada is kind of like US light, like the same, but like quieter?
That would be the same with RuPaul's Drag Race and RuPaul's Drag Race Canada. It's RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, there is
light.
I forgot about this.
A light.
it's like a somehow lamer version of
Oh my
RuPaul's
God.
Drag Race. Although we don't say lame, I just recently learned that lame is not a.
No, I do agree. No, I do agree because like any sort of spin-off that has actually happened that is American, well, a lot of American spin-offs are like actually originally British, like Pop Idol became Idol. But then they start the Canadian version, we're like, because Canadians don't want to watch Canadian television, they watch American television.
Okay, yeah, I really I don't have so much information about Canada. I think, or just a big picture in my head. Maybe that also says something.
Let me give you some points, the differences between Canada and
Yeah.
America, because I have to represent here in every episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
Like he goes on and on and on about it in
Yes,
every
it has to actually happen.
Please.
So the politics, we are much more quieter with it. Basically because like, for example, you can actually engage in political topics. Like you can be in two sides of the spectrum, left and right, and actually have a discussion compared to morally thinking someone is wrong or actually going into a physical fight even.
Yeah.
In Canada, we talk politics a little bit more in a quieter way. Canada's borders seem to be a lot more open. Enter kids in cages in America. We don't really have those situations. Like we are actually wanting immigrants to come into the place also because the population is much more lower. So we need more people.
Hold on. So that's the thing that's so fucking frustrating about the US. The US also really needs immigrants. Like
Yeah.
in dire need of more people.
You need brain power. Like, and brain power doesn't only exist in the US. It comes from all over the world. New ideas and everything. Yeah. Okay, here's something, Sarai, that you will actually agree with. Canada has universal healthcare. So you don't have to pay for the most basic services, including doctor's visits, ultrasounds, and like hospital stays and things like that.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on.
The fact that that's even a thing, not even a thing in America right now. That's a discussion.
While I was working those 6 jobs, I did not have any health care. I couldn't qualify for Obamacare because I made slightly too much. And so it was way too expensive. So I just didn't have any. And then I cut my finger open helping a friend move and I had to go to the ER because I needed stitches. I got a bill for $5,000.
What the fuck?
For 3 stitches on my finger.
That's insane. Oh my God.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a concept, like as a German, I just can't grasp.
Yeah.
You know, I look at America and I think, oh, they have this healthcare problem, but I don't have any idea what this would feel like. So it's easy for me to block it out, no? Because I have no idea how that would feel. Because we are so secure here in Germany with the version we do it here.
Yeah. I still am like, oh, I kind of need to go to the doctor, but if I wait a week, maybe I get a staph infection in my foot and my toe falls off, or maybe it goes away.
Let's wait another week.
Yeah, exactly. I'll risk it.
No, but there's actually this article. I'll put in the references. It's 99 reasons why it's better to be Canadian. But one of the points I actually say is that compared to Americans, we live longer and we are healthier. And that has a lot to do with the healthcare system, because anything that happens, we can go to the doctor not worrying that we're going to be broke. You know what I mean? So
it also has to do with the lack of guns.
That too, yes.
There was a statistic that was released recently. I heard it on NPR about Philadelphia, and that newborns born last week in Philadelphia, their life expectancy is 66 years old.
God, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In America?
In Philadelphia specifically, just because the gun violence is so high.
Welcome to the 18th century.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. America has this gun culture and people love their guns. Whereas in Canada, guns are for hunting. It's not, which I'm also not really for, by the way, but at least people are not getting shot.
Yeah, it's not a lifestyle.
It's not a lifestyle. We need guns to protect ourselves. It's our amendment. And that idea does not exist in a lot of the places in the world. I don't know why America holds on to that. Another thing that Canada has actually done, which I specifically like, is recreational marijuana is legal everywhere.
Johannes.
I don't do drugs.
You don't?
It sounds ironic, but I meant it seriously. It's not a.
You just said you love the pill culture in America, like drugs.
If other people take them.
Like watching other people stoned.
Just like to hear about it.
Go listen to our episode on weed to hear
Oh
Jeremy
no,
and
you need to
I.
listen to the Patreon where we are actually stoned and we played a game. Oh my god. There was no words. It was just laughing.
Yeah. My picture of my vision of Canada was also very influenced by Margaret Atwood.
Oh yeah.
I read like early on, I read some book, Cat's Eye, where she remembers her childhood. And so I have somehow this manifested the picture of Canada in my head that all Canadians are scientists for insects, because her parents are scientists for insects, and they always spend the autumn in the woods to do research, and it was a very nice book to read. Mm-hmm. But somehow this also influenced the way of thinking about Canada. I think that it's also very civilized place and
cerebral.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a normal place.
So I have a question. Why do you choose the word fetish to describe your US obsession?
I'm curious too.
Fetish.
Yeah.
Because if I try to, you shouldn't analyze yourself maybe too much, but if I look at it, I think it's a very big interest. Mm-hmm. So I thought fetish would be the right word for it. Because it also goes so far as to excluding a lot of German TV or German films and German cooking, or I don't know.
Yeah. So it's like this sort of obsession, but that it's solely the US. It's like at the detriment or exclusion of other things like German things. Okay. Yes. Interesting. I don't know. You could have said you wanted to fuck the US or something.
It's already fucked.
Good answer.
True. Yes, absolutely.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. I never thought about it in a sexual way. This my American fetish. I don't know. No.
So you don't want Halka to dress up in American flag shorts and a trucker hat.
We had this on TV for the last 4 years. No.
True. Yeah.
I mean, if this is your fetish, then you really had a good,
oh my God,
a good run.
Yeah, absolutely. Like free porn and just porn all day, every day for the last 4 years. If that's your thing.
But I must say, I look at this stuff also in amazement, like those people. Yeah. Sometimes I can't really imagine that those people really exist. Mm-hmm. I always think it must be some kind of performance piece or a show.
It's not just you. I think the rest of the world feels the same way too. Is this actually happening?
It's like it's a show, but somehow on a different level. Maybe this is also why I love RuPaul's Drag Race so much. I think a lot of people love RuPaul's Drag Race, but I really think it's a genius. It's a work of genius. The whole show. Yeah. Like to make a show about, like, everybody knows those reality shows are fake. Then to use this format of a fake, fake show to about doing, but which deals with being fake women or mm-hmm. being real women, whatever. Putting on this makeup, I think is really, I really love it.
Yeah, they're zooming into a particular subculture, the drag, the voguing community, all of that basically, and they're putting that deep lens into that, and so the rest of the world can sort of see it, which is kind of interesting. It's a very cool show. Yeah.
So Johannes, would you want to move to the US and become American?
I would really love to spend some time there.
Uh-huh.
And I would be really interesting to see how I come back. If I come back and it's like I'm hated everything, I can't see it anymore. I don't, how this would change as an experiment. I would really love it. I think to live there under those circumstances, you also talked about like this. I think, and also if you are working in the arts, it's a very different. Although I love musicals that much, I love it so much. It's so good. I love it so much, but I don't know if I would be able to, with the stuff I do myself, to survive there.
Well, let's see. We'll put together a list of cities that you should at least spend extended periods of time in, like Miami.
Why?
You just have to experience Florida. Like it's an experience unlike any other. And once you've been there for like once you've spent a week there, you understand this Florida man concept, you know?
Okay. I just know Florida from the Golden Girls. And
oh my God, I love that show.
Me too.
And the Gianni Versace killing story, American Crime Story, or what it's called.
Yeah. All right. Well,
what else? Where else should I go?
Know. Oh, where else? Definitely Los Angeles.
Yes.
And Manhattan.
Yes.
And then everything else is just of no importance, really. But Texas.
Oh my God.
You should definitely experience Texas.
It's amazing how you love your country, Sarah.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Hilarious.
It's like I know not a lot of people who are so disillusioned. I mean, this is why I always call her Debbie Downer. She during this time when I was writing her the text with "Now Trump will be gone," and she was always like, "No, because racism," or "No, because blah blah blah." And I was like, "Don't steal my thunder. I stopped talking to you about it. You are just too real."
You're like, I need to believe that he will actually do something that he will be held accountable for. And I was like, he is a white man. He's not going to be held accountable for shit.
I actually survived 4 years only because of this, like, hope that somehow suddenly he will be
gone.
He will be gone. Yes.
Yeah. How did that work out?
Yeah, I'm relieved. No.
Twice impeached. Yet nothing. It's like, what the heck? What more can he do?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything he could have done.
Yeah.
But do you love, speaking of Canada, do you love Justin Trudeau?
Yeah, he's hot.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, well, all I remember is his brown face, so.
Oh, yeah. There was this whole thing. When he was in college.
Comes Debbie Downer.
I know, exactly. Hence. Thank you so much for bringing this topic to me, Johannes. I can now use this.
We could say that Sarai is the anti-American. She's so not enthusiastic about stuff.
But anything.
It's like you're up here and I'm like, no, I gotta bring you back down.
Life is horrible.
I am a realist, okay?
Yes. That's what they say.
True. Yeah. All right. Well, Johannes, thank you so much for talking to us. We
thank you.
Really enjoyed this.
I have a feeling I only talked about crazy. I came across as a crazy person. Cut it out, please.
So we'll cut it down to 5 minutes. Fine.
Yes, please.
But we do want to have you back for like a topicked episode. Probably
about sugar and fat.
Yes, yeah. I was going to say probably on baking and cooking.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Because I was cooking since I was a child. Did you also?
Yeah. Well, yeah. My mom couldn't cook, so someone had to.
Oh, yeah. And Jeremy also?
I do cook. My parents can't cook for shit. But okay. We have commonalities there.
There we have a pattern.
Yeah.
We can talk.
Yes.
So coming up next, our episode on cooking and baking with Johannes.
And childhood trauma.
Yes, childhood trauma, cooking and baking.
Yes, please.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Check us out on all our social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
Yeah, and we're going to link Johannes's social media stuff in the episode notes. So go show him some love as well. And we'll see you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.